Good morning and welcome back to Live with Liz. Here we are in our coffee break style chats again. I'm planning to come back once a week like I did before. I really loved all of the care and support over the summer that my loyal fans provided, reaching out to me, checking up, seeing when I'm coming back. Well, we're back and we have a lineup of a lot of interesting topics that I think are important for our audience. And for those of you who don't know us, my name is Liz. I'm the CEO and the founder of Firm Forward, which is an international legal marketing agency and business development consultancy. And whoa, today, the topic that we're covering, relevant for the times, is flex working conditions and how that relates to retention. Good morning, Leah. So nice to see you. And gosh, this is something that over the summer just keeps creeping up. And it's not just in the United States, and it's not just in a few jurisdictions. This is something that we are seeing worldwide, the problem being that law firms, almost across the board, are having an incredibly challenging time recruiting and retaining people. And I mean, even more so, like the Great Resignation never stopped. And we see a lot of acquisitions. We see a lot of people leaving and starting their own practices. We see a lot of people leaving just for, the grass is greener somewhere else, but they're looking for something. And I see a lot of firms struggling with this. I even see the craziest tactics being put in place in the market where law firms are enticing people who are employed at other firms in ways that maybe are borderline ethical, maybe are just downright unethical. And wow, how did they do that? And unbelievable. So this is definitely something that a lot of firms are grappling with. If it's your firm that's going through it, you're not alone. And that means that a lot of attention is being put on this. Research is being done. Surveying is being done by a lot of different companies. A lot of different publishers out there are looking into this, who focus on this industry, and they're looking into it for us to see, well, what do you do? How do you recruit and retain people in this kind of new space and time, semi-post-pandemic, still worried, still, doing things differently? Well, we all kind of got used to remote working. Now, from personal experience, this is something that my entire team did before the pandemic. So, but it wasn't for everyone then, and it's not for everyone now. And it is something, though, interestingly enough, there was a Harvard Business Review article, and it said that the number one reason, maybe I'm misquoting here, is for people leaving for attrition is they're looking for flex work time, flex working conditions and remote working conditions. So people have gotten used to this and we like it. And when you try and take that away, you can see what's happening. See ya. Oh, you want to throw more money? Money's not going to cut it these days. Now, in some places, money will still cut it, and you still have to be competitive on money, because at the same time, we have these crazy things happening in our economy that we are dealing with, that, you have to still stay competitive and the money still has to be there. But absent a focus on the needs of the employee when it comes to flex working schedules and flex working benefits, it's still going to be a really difficult journey to recruiting the right people and having your team whole. And especially if you're trying to grow your business and that growth is stunted because you absolutely need those resources to be able to deliver the legal services that you're looking for. Bom dia, Deseo. Como vai você? So this being the number one thing that's cited, and of course other things come up, let's focus on what that means. We're not coming out and saying that every law firm should just offer unlimited flex time and unlimited work from home. A law firm has to look at all of the conditions and structure and resources and limitations to delivering quality service. And you have to do that first before you can establish policies, that maybe even formal policies, that lay out what that flex working time or remote working looks like for your team and your firm and your jurisdiction, because it's not the same across the board. And that formal policy thing, let's hit on that for a second, because that is something that a lot of firms are just, maybe don't have it written out what the expectation is for how it's going to work. And so that is something that firms should absolutely focus on when it comes to providing this as a benefit. So that misunderstanding, that uncertainty that weighs on our minds, where I don't know, how is me being, a work from home employee, how is that going to affect my career? What does that look like for job growth for me? What does that look like for advancement and making partner? What does that look like, to my teammates? So these formal policies can be an important part of making sure that your flex working schedules and your flex benefits are communicated effectively, and that people know what to expect and that people can rely on it. And that other piece that I just mentioned as a part of this formal policy, that team building piece. We focus so much of our attention on networking and on building client relationships and on the quality of our service that we're delivering. But sometimes building those relationships and establishing that trust is not something that we focus on for our team. And I'm not talking about just, bowling night, or no offense to a recent firm told me they're having it. That's awesome too. I'm not talking about just, the summer picnic or a fringe get together, but those meaningful connections that you can make with your team to build the team and to create loyalty. And this is something else that some of these surveys they came back with was, you have to incentivize loyalty. How do you do that? And flex schedules are a part of it. Communicating effectively is a part of it. But you also have to build that trust that you are so practiced with in the industry when it comes to clients among the team. And that team building, you need to build it into what you're doing, to your internal practices, and to really bolster what it looks like for the team to deliver services together. Now, this is also important for a number of other reasons, and loyalty being one of them. Of course, this speaks to retention. Of course, that goes hand in hand with, your flex offering, that formal policy, extending what it looks like in a clear, unmitigated way that says, this is the expectation. You don't have to worry about it. We're not going to take points away because you're working from home today, or you have a sick child and you have to take care of things. But a few ways to get beyond that for your team and to really invest in them and to build that loyalty while also building that, team spirit remotely is that investment in your team. And now we're not talking about the money that you give to get people on board. We're talking about the investment you make in the well-being of your team and making sure that your people are taken care of. Now, a lot of firms do this very well with the benefit structures they have in place, maybe well-being programs, maybe, there's been a lot of emphasis in recent years on mental health and on time off and on making sure we try and work on that work-life balance we always talk about. But there are some things that are less concrete and places where that investment is clearly held back. And now we're going right back into the heart of what flex working schedules are all about and why people need them. And that's the further investment into people's families. So you're not really taking care of your employees very well if you're not extending those investments and benefits and well-being to the entire family unit, because these, are people who work for you, who have responsibilities and obligations outside of work. Now, some of the investments can go beyond the well-being and really support the firm's bottom line and really support the delivery of legal services when you invest in people who especially are working remotely. Beyond that team building and beyond taking care of families, which are essential, you have to do it, you can go a little further and invest in programming to help train your employees in a new environment, in productivity, in management, and in advancement, and in business development and networking, which is something that is becoming a part of all of our lives. So if you're in a firm that has yet to acknowledge this, you'll see that even on social media, as your firm is engaged in communicating, your associates may be engaged in communicating in a level that you can't control and that you want to take advantage of. So if you want to encourage that and you are investing in them with all of these other things that make people happy to be a part of the team and relieved to be a part of the team and excited to show up for work each day because they know that they're on track to achieve something, you can go a little bit further and give that sentiment a boost with some of these support programs that really speak to the heart of what their professional goals are. And so we'll circle back now to that formal policy and having this really clear understanding of what that flex benefit looks like for all of the people who work on your team. And it's something, that you want to include is not just here are the benefits, here's how we're going to take care of you, we're going to foster your growth, blah, blah, blah. You're also going to go back and include what it looks like for growth for each individual member of your team, an advancement at your firm with clear achievements that people can make along the way, regardless of what kind of flex schedule they have or benefits they're taking advantage of. And that is going to be difficult for some firms. You are going to have to take it apart and you're going to have to look and say, okay, we have these resources. We're going to share certain things each day. Maybe we can't do it 100%, but we really want to go the extra mile and help the people out. And our policy is going to look like this. Here are the times that we absolutely expect people to be working. Here's how flexible we can be. Here's what time off looks like. And despite all of this, here is what advancement still looks like. We absolutely, let's make it crystal clear, will not ding you in your advancement for taking advantage of benefits that we're offering, because that is one of the things that leads to people leaving firms. And that inability of people to rely on the very nature and setup of their professional working conditions is absolutely one of the reasons that people are leaving. And it's one of the places that a law firm could really get it together and be successful with in order to keep people and recruit people. You want to hire the right people to begin with, but all of those other factors come into play. So, recap a little bit. Oh my gosh, people are leaving like crazy. Oh my goodness, I can't believe competitors are doing these crazy things. What do we need to do? Revisit what our baseline looks like, understand what our employees need, understand the limitations that might exist based on the resources that we have and the legal services we have to deliver, and then make sure that we come up with a formal policy that lays it all out so it's crystal clear for everyone. There's reliance that they can have. We're not going to damage people's careers for taking advantage of these things. It's going to become something that people can really understand for the long haul and with their professional advancement. That's going to create loyalty. That's going to build trust with your employees the same way you do with your clients, but with your team, and hopefully help alleviate some of those issues that people might be having with recruitment and retention. Now, I'm about to wrap up, but if anybody has any questions, you can always reach out to us, solutions@firmforward.com. And we'd be happy to look at what you have going on. We'd be happy to help you conduct a survey if you need to and see exactly what it is that you need to do in your area based on your resources, based on your structures and your communications to do what's right for you. And catch us here. We're coming back Wednesdays, 9 a.m. Houston time. So that's Central Time. Right now we're on daylight. It's going to go into regular hours. And we'd love to see you. And we'll be covering other topics related to international legal marketing and business development. And although our conference schedule is a bit more limited this year than it has been in years past, I am still planning to attend the ASIPI annual meeting, which is being held in Medellin, Colombia, the first week of December. So plenty of time to get on our schedule. And if you haven't registered, you should do that. And hey, everyone, have a great rest of your week and see you next time on Live with Liz.